Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back with the owner, and this is Kerry Tice of CircuSoul.com, and here he comes. There he is. Welcome back to the show today. How are you?
I'm doing great, just hanging around.
Literally just hanging around in a hammock, or what do we call that?
Yeah, we call this a yoga hammock.
Perfect. And clearly, you're the founder and owner of the business called CircuSoul.com. That's CircuSoul.com. Please introduce yourself to everyone today as you hang tight for us.
Oh, thank you. My name's Kerry Tice, and I'm the owner and director here at CircuSoul Yoga. What's kind of cool here is that this is actually my design on the yoga hammock, and it's a completely original program. So I started doing aerial yoga about 11 years ago, and over the last decade, have created tons of material and teaching methodology. So I'm here to just share a little bit about what aerial yoga is.
Fantastic. And it's exciting to have you here today. And I get to see the full studio. I mean, the mural behind you is beautiful. Now to see all of the hammocks, they're all just hung there from, how does that work?
So we actually, you can't see it from here, but right above me, we have big beams that go through the ceiling. And so each of these are hung on beams that can hold about 10,000 pounds. So they're, super structural, tied into the ceiling. So super safe, super secure. But what it does is it allows us to have a yoga hammock for each person. So you still need a mat because we do some things on the mat. There's still very much a kind of a mix of traditional, what we call mat yoga or terrestrial yoga. And then we get in the hammock. So you can see I'm just kind of hanging out here, like literally sitting in the hammock. But I'm excited to show you, some of my moves.
This is awesome. I'm actually going to see it. I didn't know this today. So we're going to watch Kerry do his aerial yoga. But for those new listeners and viewers today, let's start off with what exactly is aerial yoga? Can you explain it to us?
So aerial yoga, it's still a yoga class, or at least the way that we do it at our studio. It's very much in that yogic tradition. So it's going to still be steeped with the yoga philosophy and all the things that make yoga. However, everyone's got a prop, right? So you might come in and get a block when you go to yoga, or you might come and get a strap or a bolster, right? You've got all these different things that you might use in a yoga class. Well, in this yoga class, we typically don't have any other prop other than the yoga hammock itself.
Wow, pretty awesome. And I just wanted you to get right to it, but I know we have to talk while you do it to explain to everyone. So what's next for aerial yoga? Go ahead.
Well, we've got a lot of different positions. So the position I started in the very beginning, laying down, is actually one of the best positions. And this is actually a restorative yoga position where the body is completely inside of the hammock and it's being held. And it's so beneficial to, it sounds like it would just be like fun, but there's actually a lot of health benefits to it as well. Laying down in the hammock, it increases your parasympathetic nervous response, which that's the rest and relaxation part of your nervous system. It's important because in the modern day living, we really don't get many opportunities to engage that system, but we have hundreds, if not thousands in a week that we engage the other system, the fight flight response. And if we don't take care of that, what we get is chronically sick, chronically ill, chronically stressed. And that's what our whole healthcare system is overwhelmed with, is with people who are stressed, who have chronic tension in the body, who have chronic tension in the mind, in the cardiovascular system. And we really have an answer here to be able to help them.
Great. And what is your favorite thing about aerial yoga?
My favorite thing about aerial yoga is the fun. Right? It's really high up there, right? It's kind of hard to have a bad time when you come into aerial yoga. So this is a traditional yoga pose right here, what we call high lunge. And what's cool about the hammock is it's actually helping me support me. And that's one of the big benefits of doing aerial yoga is that the hammock can help take off some of the load from your bones and take off some of the load from the joints. So you can oftentimes do some things with a little bit less stress on the body and a whole lot more support. So it just feels really good, right? This is like, I could hang out here a little bit longer. And of course, we can make it a little bit more dramatic, a little prettier using the handles and working into back bends. So we've got all kinds of benefits. And it's just, it's one of the funnest things that I have here at the studio. So even when I'm teaching, I'm still playing.
Great. And could you explain to us what an inversion is and what are the benefits of inversion? Is that the terminology? Am I using it correctly?
Mhm. Yeah. So an inversion is anytime the head goes below the heart, right? So
Okay.
in typical yoga, right, this is an inversion, just folding forward, letting the hand
Mhm.
hang heavy because the head is below the heart.
Mm.
But what I love about the hammock is that you're actually able to access what would be a pretty advanced posture in regular
Okay.
yoga, right? Being able to hold handstand or headstand or these types of poses, it's hard, right? And it
Yeah.
may take years to get there, like literally, and sometimes you don't ever get there. So what the hammock does, it is allows a new user, I'm talking somebody off the street, have never done yoga, have never done aerial yoga, to come in and receive the benefits that it would normally take years in regular yoga to get there. So
Okay.
I'm actually going to show you what the inversion
Oh,
looks like.
sure.
This is what we call like the big inversion or major inversion.
Okay.
And so the hammock supports me right here at the hips. I'm holding on to the hammock. And then as I lean back, the hammock will support me. And then I just go and wrap my legs in here. So I'm now upside down,
Oh,
right?
wow.
And there are so many benefits to going upside down.
Tell me,
outside
tell me,
of
tell me.
the obvious, right? This is super fun, right? This
Yes.
feels really good. But what it does is it actually helps with the reticular activating system. So it helps with your sleep wake cycles. So when you're awake, you're going to feel more awake. And when it's time to go to bed, you're going to be able to go to bed because this whole thing is doing just a number on the whole entire system. There's actually not a single system that the inversion doesn't either directly or indirectly affect the body. So it just has so many benefits.
Wow, it's exciting. Now, how long is a class, typical aerial yoga class last for?
Well, you wouldn't stay in this all day long, right? So
Yeah,
this is
I'm worried
like
about the
this is
blood
like
rushing to your
a very
brain.
small part of the class. So we would
Mhm.
stay inverted like this, maybe for 2 minutes, maybe for 5 minutes, but it's not forever. And so what we typically do is we actually we work into an hour class format. And the hour class, right? It's just the right amount. You're always left wanting a little bit more, but you're always getting all that you need, right? And especially for a new person, you think you want to go for an hour and 15, and then you get to that hour and 5 minute, and you're like, no, I'm good. So we actually do all of our classes at a 1 hour format.
Wow. Okay, great. And just curious, how did you get your start in this? Was it from the yoga you were already doing? I mean, because how does someone, you want to do yoga, but then it's a little anxious, anxiety. Can I do that? Like, obviously, beginners begin. So, what made you to do the switch? And what would you say to someone out there who's interested in trying aerial yoga for the first time?
Sure. So I actually started aerial yoga when I had a really bad back injury. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't really, standing was hurting. Everything was just hurting so much. And I started doing aerial yoga. And while I was in the hammock doing my poses, and especially while I was upside down, I noticed I had no pain, right? Back pain was
Wow.
like not there. And then I'd have this time period afterwards that the pain was also not there. And I was like, my God, like this pain is bad, right? My pain was like really debilitating. And I was looking for something to relieve. And that's when I started doing aerial yoga. It was back when really aerial yoga wasn't really a thing. I actually typed in on YouTube aerial yoga, right? I found one video, and it wasn't even a video. It was like a little collage of pictures. And it was kind of the same 4 pictures repeated.
Well, let me ask you this. Did like Cirque du Soleil make this really popular? I mean, to be honest, like I've seen it at weddings and events where they have these aerialists floating from the ceiling. And then, of course, with Cirque, I mean, has it been around for a long time?
Aerial yoga has been probably, I think, about maybe 15, 16 years.
Okay.
But the proliferation of Cirque du Soleil really has helped to kind of get the word out there about what aerial is, even if it's not aerial yoga. People are aware around the world what Cirque du Soleil is, and it's kind of brought this awareness to the household about what aerial is. And this is actually the same fabric that you might use and see at Cirque du Soleil. And that's the other thing is that aerial has become a huge thing. If you go to pretty much any major city, you can go and take a circus class. You can go take an aerial silk class where you'll actually climb up this fabric and do all kinds of acrobatic type of moves. But this is the therapeutic side of aerial, where there are so many benefits to going through the motions in the practice. But of course, the inversions are where we really seal the deal.
Wow. So is there anything else you want to show us and share with aerial yoga before we talk about fly yoga?
Absolutely. Yep. So I'll show you another move. This is one of my faves. We'll go into what I call the scarecrow and the lazy spider. So the feet come into our little loops, and this is actually proprietary. These loops are actually what I have made, and kind of my contribution to aerial yoga is not just the methodology behind this, but this yoga hammock. So not all yoga hammocks have these handles, and that's kind of what makes our program a little special. So we put the feet in here, and now what I'm getting a nice little inner thigh stretch, a little hamstring stretch, and I'm actually getting a traction in my spine. So like my hips are going down toward the floor and just having this really great feeling. And then I can get some relief in my chest and shoulders just by simply leaning back. I call this spider paradise.
Okay.
Amazing. Stay here for a few minutes and you've already forgotten your worries of the day. You already forgot about the tension that you left outside of the yoga studio. So that's one of the best things about aerial yoga is it makes you live in the moment, right? We can't think about what's happening in the next hour or what happened, 2 hours ago when you're thinking about what's going on in your body. It takes your full attention.
That is amazing. Wow. It looks so comfortable. And what is that fabric, by the way? How strong is that? What is that? Lycra, spandex? What combination of fabric is so strong that can hold all this weight? Just curious.
Yeah, so it's nylon tricot, and it's a special fabric that it's called 40 denier, which is actually the amount of fibers that are in per square meter or whatever. But this fabric, it's rated to hold about 1,000 pounds or more, and that's actually under stress load, where you would like pull on it and jump on it, almost kind of like a bungee, and it still doesn't break. So this thing is super, super strong. It's way stronger than it really needs to be.
Got it. And let's just remind everyone how they can contact you and get in touch with you before we continue.
Absolutely. So you can get a hold of us at CircuSoul.com. That's CircuSoul.com. And of course, you can always give us a phone call at 941-922-9642. And we actually have these classes at our studio. This is a dedicated space. So we do all of our aerial yoga, and this is what we call Studio Air. So we actually have 2 spaces at our studio, and this one's pretty much just for aerial yoga. So we actually have class every day of the week. So it's something that if someone's looking to start, we do have like every month or about every 6 weeks, we have an intro workshop just called Intro to Aerial Yoga, where you can come in and it's a little bit longer. So it's an hour and a half. So we can go slower and really get the basics and the fundamentals. Of course, we're going to teach you how to go upside down. We're going to teach you how to have a better relationship with the hammock, because it's a tricky one at first, right? It can be a little frustrating, just like when you start anything, and there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's totally accessible for everybody.
Great. So you want to talk a little bit now the difference. So we have aerial yoga and fly yoga, right? That's the next part of the conversation.
So flying yoga, so flying yoga is just my brand. It is still aerial yoga, but flying yoga is actually a registered brand with the copyright and registration board. So it's our actual brand, and we do classes here at the studio. We sell the yoga hammock, so it's something that people can get if they want to set up their yoga studio with aerial yoga. I also go and I train people. We have an 8-day intensive training, and that can be hosted at your studio. And then we sell the hammocks for home use. So we've really got a kind of a all-encompassing program. So depending on where you're at, right, you might be this beginner off the street, and you can come in, take a beginner's workshop, and start coming in for class.
But what about virtual classes as well? Don't you offer that too?
We do. We actually have 2 virtual classes for aerial yoga every week. And what's cool about those is that if that doesn't fit in your schedule, the class is actually available for 48 hours afterwards. So you can register for the class and we just send you the recording. And we have those classes on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday at 10:30 a.m.
Great. So let's talk about how someone can set this up at home. And obviously, as a beginner, how does it work? Could you help them set up at home? You want to give us some details on that?
Absolutely. So, I've got specific instructions on when you get the hammock on how exactly you install it. But in most houses, you've got the drywall ceiling. And above that, you'll have the wooden frame, right? The 2x4s or the 4x4s, whatever that is in your particular house. And you actually take a 4x4 fence post and put that up above into the attic. And so we actually drill I-beams or eye bolts into that. And then that's what we hang from. So this is the yoga hammock here. This is what would come kind of in a kit. If you buy a hammock from us or you buy it from somewhere else, it's going to be very similar. Our yoga hammock is going to be the one with the handles. So this is actually 10.5 yards. It doesn't look very long, but this is actually over 33 feet. There is a ton of cover here. That's 33 feet long. It's also 110 inches wide. You saw me.
Wow.
I'm 5'8", and I can lay in there and it covers me from my fingertips over my head all the way down to my heels. So even someone who's very tall is going to be able to utilize this hammock. And it comes pre-tied just like this. So the way that you see it is exactly how it would come to you. You're going to have the handles already pre-done here where they're hanging. And then you've got your hammock here. This is what we kind of call the main line or the main hammock. This is what you can get inside of. This is what you can use for support. And then it would also come with the hardware. So these black little webbings, it's a little kind of hard to see, but these are what allow us to go up and down. So this hammock can go up all the way up to my chest. It can also go all the way down to the floor, which allows it to be super versatile, allowing for, of course, a difference in height, but also we can have a completely different use. If we put it on the floor, we can use it for meditation. We can utilize it for kind of a restorative or yin type of thing. So the hammock allows us to take whatever style of yoga that we want to practice, and then we can utilize this as an amazing prop.
Wow. Now, do you have to be good at regular yoga to do your fly yoga?
No, you do not.
Okay.
So it's something that is, totally available for beginners. It's something that, as long as you've got a basic fitness level and you're able to, move through an hour worth of exercise, because it is, you're going to work out, then it is totally accessible. And you don't have to be very flexible. You don't have to be an experienced yogi. I've actually had a lot of people come in and aerial yoga was their very first yoga class, right? And how special that was for them. It just something they'll never forget, right? Even if they never come back, right? It is something that you will remember forever.
Absolutely is. Great. So what else did you want to discuss today? Or do you want to show us some of your aerial yoga moves?
Yeah, we can show you some of the moves. So
Sure.
I've kind of been talking more of the therapeutic side and kind of the classic yoga side, but there's a really fun and kind of circusy side to it. So I'll show you a couple of those moves because they're always fun to see. So this next one I'm going to show is called what we call the cheating angel.
Okay.
We've got some weird names for things. Boop, boop, boop. So as I pull up, I come in and then I've got this, and this is actually pretty accessible. This is something you have to kind of a little bit of experience here, but this is totally doable. And then one of my other favorites is the twirly bob, right? So we make this transition and all the way right back up.
Wow.
So it's something that we don't always have a trick or flip in the class. Usually there's like one or two. So in the whole hour, we might spend 1 or 2 minutes on something similar to what we just did. But the rest of the class is going to be very classic yoga, and where we're going through the different down dog positions, the different warrior positions. And it's just great at being able to help us find a classic posture like triangle pose. Triangle pose is not the easiest pose to say do well. And the hammock allows us to have this support. So where we can come in and utilize the hammock to help us open and be able to find a better alignment throughout the practice.
Right.
So we're able to use it in so many different ways, right? Folding forward, using this to open up through the shoulders, and having the support here allows you to go a little bit deeper without all of that stress. And just like a regular yoga class, right, we're going to be instructing you to breathe, right? The most important part of the whole thing. So our next little move, really fun move, is cobbler's pose. And this is it's one of my favorites. It's hard to let go of. This is like one of my kind of first ones that I started doing. And I'm still doing it, right? Still bringing it in to the practice. So we can come in here and have this it makes for an awesome little photo.
Oh my God, that is an awesome photo.
It moves into a couple other poses. So this is the flying dragon.
Wow.
Put my head in there so you can see. Yeah. And then as you fold forward, this is one of my faves. This is the bat, right? And we can get all the benefits of being upside down, which include helping to regulate your hormones. But it also, one of the things that it's best at is helping with your cardiovascular health. So going upside down actually reduces at first, when you first go upside down, your blood pressure goes up. But then the regulating systems inside of your neck and head, they kick on and they actually decreases your blood pressure, right? And which we know that blood pressure is one of those indicators for chronic stress and, other health issues that are coming forward. Love to come out of this one because we just do a little boop, flip, right back up.
Well, I'm on, by the way, your website. I want to remind everyone, CircuSoul.com, and you're based out of Sarasota, Florida, for those that may not know. So you serve, I'm sure people drive to you from afar, right?
Well, actually, we do. People come to take class. People might come an hour or two. Most of the people that come are local. But because we do the flying yoga teacher training, people come from all over the world, as well as all over the country to come and train specifically with me. I'm one of the only people out there that has a really big background in yoga. I've been studying yoga for about 11 years. I have a certification in what they call yoga therapy. So I've taken my background in yoga therapy and in vinyasa yoga and combined it with this is my 21st year in circus. So I'm still really active in the circus. I still fly on the trapeze most days, right? So usually when I leave here, I go over to the flying trapeze. And so for me, like being in the air and being off the ground is very much a lifestyle, right? It's something that I'm doing almost every day of my life. And I am so passionate about it. And I love it so much that that's really what it came down to, is that I needed to share this with the world, right? I needed to get this out there. And I've utilized the flying yoga hammock to really share what I've learned in my experience, and all of the different things that you can do being upside down.
I'm on your Instagram page as well. So I saw this morning you have the post, Tuesday scheduled, a warm flow with Steph, the Vinyasa yoga with Aaron at 9, then at 10:30. Your schedule's up here. I love the pictures because you can see someone in the background there stretching, getting ready on to get on the aerial yoga. What do I call it? Get on the
hammock. So hammock or yoga hammock or aerial yoga hammock. What am I supposed to call it?
Good. But you have some great posts here, and also sound healing looks like something that you do as well. I saw a post the other day. What is sound healing, and how do you work that into your yoga as well?
Yeah, so sound healing, actually one of my favorite things. It's a newer thing here at our studio, and sound healing will involve different instruments, usually singing bowls. In that picture that you had up, those are actually singing bowls. So they're crystal bowls.
Okay.
And they each emit a different frequency. And so those different frequencies help to heal the different parts of the body, the mind, the spirit, as well as the energy system. And so there's one for each of the chakras. There's 7 bowls, but then she brings in other different sound elements. And so we'll do a whole class, right? We'll come in and get in the hammock and cocoon like we were in before, but sometimes we come in and we'll sit here in our frog pose. And what's cool about having the hammock is that the ground doesn't impede the sound waves. So instead of like part of your body kind of being on the ground, you've got the sound waves all around you. So it literally is what we say. It's a sound bath, right? You're immersing yourself in that. And we actually have one this Sunday. So I actually teach the aerial part of it. So we'll be doing aerial yin. which is really nice, longer held postures. It's a great place for somebody to start. And then to have the added treat of having the sound bath,
Of course.
it's like literally paradise.
Wow. All right, great. So Kerry Tice, in closing, we have just 3 minutes left. What else would you like to share for our listeners? And of course, we want to make sure we have all forms of contact for you as well.
Absolutely. That if you're thinking about it and you're not sure, go give it a try, right? We really make mountains out of molehills in our mind, and we think that things are going to be scary, or they're going to be just all these different things, and so oftentimes things aren't what they seem, right? And so if you have a feeling or an inkling that you're like, I want to go try this out, I want to go check it out, go check it out. Even if you're not here in Sarasota, there are places all over the country that you can go and do. You can search aerial yoga and you'll definitely find something. And what I love about it is that it's not just an active circus type thing, flipping and tricking. It's also something where we can come in and, like this frog pose, we can be very meditative, right? We can find our peace by being still. So if you have a meditation practice, this is one of my favorite places to meditate, where I can just help support my feet inside of the loop, and I can come in and really feel like, even in a class, I can feel like I'm completely by myself, right? We create that little envelope around our body.
Wonderful. Kerry, you're awesome. We appreciate what you do. It's exciting to know that you're a worldwide, well-renowned, and clearly an expert in your field. And we hope our viewers and listeners reach out to you for any questions. Do we give them the website?
Yeah, questions come to the website, and we're really quick about response. So whether you come to our website or you come to our Facebook, you're sure to get an answer back from us, because there's several of us that monitor that, and we're always there to give you some help.
Great. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it, and wishing you a happy and healthy day. And what am I supposed to say? Is it namaste?
Namaste. Yes.
Thank you.
Namaste, right? Like they say, namaste in the hammock or namaste in bed today.
I never heard that one before. I love it. Well, thank you again, CircuSoul Yoga. Exciting to have you here. And next I'm in the Sarasota area. Well, it's been a while. I want to come see in person. I mean, I could do virtual, but I have a 4- and 6-year-old. I can never set this up in my house, but one day. It really looks like a great, amazing studio. So thank you for that.
Well, come on by. We are always ranked in the top 10 beaches in the world. So Sarasota is a destination all unto itself. And of course, on your bucket list has got to be coming to CircuSoul Yoga and doing your first aerial yoga class.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And to all of our listeners, the same. Stay tuned. More of the show is on the way. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.